What up, you absolute legends? Today, we're not just talking about a transfer window, we're talking about a fudging movie, a blockbuster. This is not just Arsenal's moment. This is their goddamn regenesis. You saw it. 7 new fudging players. Over £220 million spent. Names like Zubamendi, Norgard, Madueke, and Mosquera. But in the chaos, 2 names rise above the rest. And they don't just fix Arsenal's problems, they are the final pieces that could break the Premier League in half.
Welcome to Fudging Football, where we don't shiz around, just straight up football videos.
We're talking about the duo, the 1-2 punch, the dynamic shiz duo. Eberechi Eze and Viktor Gyokeres. If the rest of the league isn't pissing themselves yet, they should be, because this is the duo that will finally carry Arsenal to the Premier League title. This is Arsenal's moment.
And hey, make sure to fudging, like, subscribe, and hit that bell, or I'll know you didn't.
The boy who once walked away from Arsenal to grow has returned in spirit as a monster. Eberechi Eze. Last season at Crystal Palace, this beautiful bastard had 14 goals and 12 assists across all competitions. A left winger no fullback can contain. He doesn't just play the game, he bends it. He makes defenders dance to his rhythm. But here's the shiz no one talks about. He's a man for the moments that matter. He single-handedly won Crystal Palace their first major trophy by scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final against Manchester City. That's not just a goal, that's a statement. And then he followed that up by helping them win the Community Shield against Liverpool. He's a winner. And then there's the other half of this twin-headed hydra, Viktor Gyokeres. On his shoulders from minute 1, right? Because his goal output is not normal. Even for players that have been touted as top players in the Portuguese league that have come to the Prem and kind of flopped. None have been as good as this guy. He came to Arsenal after a monster season where he scored an unbelievable 39 goals in 33 games for Sporting Lisbon in the league alone, helping them win the domestic double. He also ended the campaign with 6 further goals in the Champions League, including a hat-trick against Manchester City, and finished as the top scorer in the UEFA Nations League with 9 goals. That is the caliber of striker Arsenal signed. Not just a forward, not just a goal scorer, but a weapon, a predator who terrifies center-backs before the ball even reaches him. The machine is awake. Now he wears red and white. Now he hunts in the Premier League. And every defender in England knows if Gyokeres gets a chance, it's already too late. For years, Arsenal fans cried out for a true goal scorer. A striker whose instinct was to live inside the penalty area, not drift away from it. Viktor Gyokeres has arrived to fill that void. But the challenge was clear from day one. How do you integrate a pure finisher into a system built on fluidity and rotations? The answer came quickly in the form of a run that has defined his career. Against Leeds, the Emirates finally saw the move. Sporting fans knew all too well. A ball played early, space to attack, and Gyokeres exploding into the channel. Riccardo Calafiori spotted it, releasing a perfect pass behind the defense. The Swede needed no second invitation. He powered into the left flank, shrugged off his marker, and cut inside. From there, the outcome was inevitable. 1 touch, 1 strike, and then the mask celebration. The Emirates roared because they had seen it. His signature. This is the Joker blueprint, sprinting into wide channels, especially the left, where his pace and brute strength make him unstoppable. It's a move that stretches back lines, forces center-backs into one-on-one duels they rarely win, and often ends with him cutting onto his right foot to hammer home at the near post. And here's the fudging key. This isn't just a personal trademark. It fixes a fundamental flaw in Arsenal's attack. Last season, almost every transition ran through Bukayo Saka and the right side, making them predictable. With Gyokeres, the left channel suddenly becomes just as dangerous. Defenders can no longer overload Saka without leaving themselves wide open to Arsenal's new weapon. The stats already prove his impact. No player in the Premier League has made more runs behind the defensive line this season, 27 in total. One brought his first Arsenal goal, and many more will follow. Gyokeres doesn't just score. He stretches the pitch, creates an outlet when under pressure, and provides the kind of vertical threat that Arsenal lacked. He is not simply another forward in Arteta's system. He is the balance Arsenal were missing. But the question was always, can this work in Arsenal's system? At Sporting, Gyokeres thrived in leagues where defenses left space in behind, but at Arsenal, most opponents sit deep, stacking bodies in front of goal forcing Mikel Arteta's team to break them down with patience. Could a runner like Gyokeres survive in such a cage? It's too early for absolute answers. But even now, there are signs of how Arsenal will use him. Kai Havertz occasionally attacks that inside channel, but more often than not, he drops short, linking play. Gyokeres does the opposite, always searching, always darting. It's a different movement profile, and Arsenal are still learning how to read him. Arteta himself admitted it. We need to make an effort to understand him, to connect, because the truth is brutal. Most of Gyokeres' runs so far have been ignored. The striker has often been left isolated. One of the most cut-off players in the league. When he does get the ball, that connection between him and the midfield must evolve. But Arteta isn't worried. Behind the scenes, they've been drilling it in training. We've done a lot of work this week. He is very smart, very intuitive. I'm sure he is going to be fine. And here's where the story gets insane. Because the solution to this problem isn't just about Gyokeres learning Arsenal. It's also about Arsenal giving Gyokeres the partner he needs. And that's where Easy enters the picture. So why did Arsenal sign Eberechi Eze? The simple answer could be Kai Havertz's injury. The German will miss time, and Arsenal needed depth. But the truth goes much deeper. Eze is not just a replacement, he is the fudging missing link. At Crystal Palace, under Oliver Glasner, he played as a left-leaning number 10 in a 3-4-2-1, drifting between midfield and attack, carrying the ball, creating chaos, and scoring goals. In Mikel Arteta's 4-3-3, that role translates almost perfectly into the left-sided number 8. The zone Havertz was meant to dominate. The zone Arsenal have struggled to unlock, and the synergy with Viktor Gyokeres is what makes it all click. Because what Gyokeres needs most is service in motion, not static passes. He thrives when someone sees his runs early, feeds in between defenders, or drags markers away so he can burst into space. That's exactly what Eze does. Arsenal's biggest flaw last season wasn't just a lack of a killer number 9. It was creativity. Too often, the team froze when faced with a deep block, relying almost entirely on Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. The result? Just 91 league goals, a tally 17 fewer than champions Liverpool's 108 in the same season. Eberechi Eze changes that entire equation. He doesn't just add goals, he adds danger. He adds audacity. Look at his numbers from last season at Crystal Palace. He had 16 goals plus assists, which puts him level with Saka, Arsenal's top contributor. His 10.5 expected goals were higher than any Arsenal players, and his 100 shots taken were more than anyone in Arteta's squad. He also crafted 58 chances and delivered 11 through balls, second only to Odegaard. But here's the big one. He completed 138 dribbles, obliterating Martinelli's 109 and showing he breaks lines by running at defenders, not just passing around them. He's a man for the moments that matter most. In the 2024-25 season, Eze's 14 goals and 12 assists for Crystal Palace were great on their own, but his value becomes priceless when you look at when they came. He struck twice against Manchester City, including the winning goal in the FA Cup final, lifting Palace to their first ever major trophy. He produced a stunning double against Tottenham at their own stadium. This is not a player who racks up numbers in meaningless fixtures. This is a player who changes history when the pressure is suffocating. Eberechi Eze is not tied to a single zone of the pitch. He thrives on freedom, floating into different spaces across the final third to confuse defenders and break structures. That mobility is calculated chaos, designed to pull markers out of position and open gaps for others. This versatility is what makes him such a natural partner for Viktor Gyokeres. Against Leeds, it was Calafiore's pass that unlocked the run. But make no mistake, the groundwork was laid by the combination of Eze's chaos and Rice's decoy movements. Gyokeres only needs one opening, one sprint, one duel. And now with Eze in the same half space, that opportunity will appear again and again. Together, they are not just balancing Arsenal's attack, they are reinventing it. This is not just a signing. This is not just improvement. This is the final piece of the fudging puzzle for Mikel Arteta. This is the duo that could finally carry Arsenal to the Premier League title. And if the rest of the league isn't afraid yet, they should be.